Hi friends, I'm so excited to share a new layout with you today that I made for the Shimmers Paints design team. I am using the beautiful February color kits and I love everything about these kits. So I'm going to be making another layout with them today. I started with Foundations White Mixed Media cardstock, and then I am using a Vicki Boutin stencil with the Creamies One Hot Mama. And I took just a foam dauber, an ink blending tool, but like one of the foam dauber pads. And I used that to add some color through the stencil. So that beautiful hot pink color. And the Creamies, I will say, comes dry and you add water, and then you get that beautiful color. You let it sit for a few minutes and get that beautiful color. So then what I did is I took the same dauber, so it had some of the One Hot Mama on it, and then on just half of that dauber, I added the Shimmers Buddy's favorite color. So half of it is pink and half of it is red. And what I'm doing is I'm going and just making big circle polka dots with the ink dauber. And as I was putting it down on the page, I kind of like pushed down and twisted. And so I got a good mixture of pink and red, and I love how that looks because the Shimmers is super shimmery and shiny, and the Creamies has a beautiful satin finish. So I love how those circles look once they're dry on that finished layout. I did go and add just a little extra of the Buddy's favorite color, that red, just on a couple of the circles where it wasn't as vivid. And then I dried it. And now what I'm doing is I am taking a piece of like acetate or packaging, and I sprayed on some of the color. So I'm going to be using a combination of the Spritz Taffy Hour from the color kit, and then a bright fuchsia I'm going to spray on there. And I'm just taking that packaging and smushing it on the background. So kind of, tying all of those colors together, tying like the stenciling and the circles and the color together. And then I'm going to take a piece of packaging. I've used this before. If you've watched my videos, I'm taking a piece of packaging that I got from when my son had his PlayStation originally delivered. The PlayStation was wrapped in this packaging that's like foam, but it has a grid pattern on it. So it's got like lots of little squares. And I love how that looks when you add ink to it and then use that to smush on some color as well. So I saved all of that packaging and I have used it lots of times now. Okay, so once I dried everything, and then once it was dry, I took this is just a fine point Sharpie, and I'm going and just very loosely, like you can see, I'm going really fast. I'm not taking a whole lot of time to be perfect about anything. I just went and kind of added just some black markings around those circles to help them stand out a little bit more. Because once I added the packaging in between, or the color in between with the packaging, the circles kind of got lost. So by outlining them a little bit, that helped them stand out again. And then what I'm doing right now is adding the Blings High Ho Silver. So this is from the bonus bundle for February. And I love this. I love this color. So the blings are super, super glittery and shiny, very blingy. And I love that it's a really pretty silver. So I just added a bunch of splatters of that. And then here this is a patterned paper, also from the February kits. And I am using all of the colors. So I think I started by spraying the Spritz Taffy Hour. And then now I'm adding some of the Buddy's favorite color in the centers of those flowers. I'm going to add some colorings, a bright fuchsia. And then I also will end up splattering on some of the Creamies Hot Mama. So really I'm using most of the colors. The only color I did not use on this layout that's from the color kits is the Vibes Think Pink, because it's just a super pastel pink and it didn't really fit with the color scheme I was going with. So every other color I used from the color kits, plus the bonus bundle color. So here what I did with the color is I just was wanting to have a very layered look. So I'm just adding color and then going and adding more color and then going and adding more color. And I'm just layering it on in lots of random ways and letting it dry. And then adding some more color. And I didn't prepare the paper with anything beforehand, so it is soaking into the paper pretty quickly. I didn't add like any clear gesso or anything because I wanted it to soak in. So here you can see, like when I move that paper, you can see all of those beautiful shiny mediums and how they're drying on those flowers. And I just keep going. So I just keep adding until it finally looks how I want it to look. And I love these flowers in the end. So what I'm going to end up doing is fussy cutting these flowers out. So I'm going to cut out each of those flowers. I do that off camera. So there they are magically on the left. I've cut them all out. And now I'm going to use some of the pattern paper from the February Kitz to back my photo. I love this arrow paper. It's got lots of really cool arrows that have hearts on them. So I added that behind the photo. This is a photo of my husband and I on the anniversary of the 20th anniversary of our first kiss. So 20 years since our first kiss. And we tried to do a selfie of us kissing and they were horrible. The selfies were just really terrible. So I got this one selfie where he's kissing my cheek and I thought it was a super sweet photo. So I used it for this layout. And I printed it in black and white because he was wearing like an orange shirt and I was wearing a pink and red shirt and just didn't really work all together. So I ended up printing it in black and white and I love how that looks with all of the pink and red around it. And then that black piece of paper, that's from a Maggie Holmes collection, like an older collection. I can't even remember which one. It was one of my favorite collections. So it was just a scratch piece of paper. I had it like in my scrap drawer, in my black and white scrap drawer. So I pulled that out to add that around that pink patterned paper. So I've got 2 layers as a mat or a frame for my photos. And then I popped it up on craft foam. And then here what I did is I pulled it out some embellishments from past Hip Kit Club kits. So I'm trying to challenge myself to use things that I've got saved up, that I saved because I loved it and didn't want to use it, which is crazy. Who does that? I don't know. I do it, but I'm trying to not do that. I'm trying to use the things that I love while I love them. And so these frames were both from past Hip Kit Clubs or past Hip Kit Club kits. And then the flowers, I had pulled out some other flowers from other kits and like some Paige Evans flowers and different things, but I end up just using the flowers from the Shimmers February kits. These little, the little florets, I don't even know what those are called. I love those little white things that I added on the bottom left corner and the top right corner of the photo. Those are also, I think, a Maggie Holmes, and they were from a past Hip Kit. So I added those, and those have lots of great dimension. And I love how they look. They're like pink and white, so they go with the color of the colors of the layout. And so here what I'm doing is I'm just kind of making a trail of flowers around them and around my photo. And I did like the top kind of swooping to the right side of the photo and then the left side of the photo swooping down to the bottom of the layout. So I kind of like how that line of embellishments goes. And then here what I'm doing is I'm going and adding a little bit more of the Spritz Taffy Hour because there were some white sections in between some of the things on the background, and they were like kind of standing out too much to me. They were drawing away from the photo, I thought. So by adding a little bit of pink, it all kind of blends a little bit better. And then here what I'm doing is I'm using some Hip Kit metal dies of leaves, and I cut out a bunch of white leaves. I didn't want any colors to distract away from like kind of the monochromatic thing I've got going on. Not really monochromatic because it's pink and red, but you get the idea. Just pinks and reds. I didn't want any green flowers or turquoise flowers or anything. Leaves. I didn't want any other colors distracting from the pink and the red. And then here, this is a heart, also from a Hip Kit. And I added that, and then I'm going to add a little bit of color on top of it. So I add some of the Buddy's favorite color, and then I'm going to end up adding a little bit more color in a minute. So this is an alpha that I pulled out from my stash, and it is kind of an ombre of pink to red. So it's pink at the top and then red at the bottom. And I'm just spelling the word love, and I'm putting that on top of the photo, just in some dead space. It's like my husband's shirt. So it's not covering up anything super important. Neither one of our faces are covered up. So I added that word love on top of the photo. And then the V, the way that the alpha printed, that V had the opposite ombre because it was like upside down on the sheet. So I pulled out a different V that had the same pattern because I wanted the whole word love to go pink to red. And you'll see that when in the close-up photos. And then here I'm taking some pops of color and adding those to the centers of the flowers and then in clusters around the page. And that's going to wrap it up. So that's the last thing I do, and I end up loving how this layout turned out. I hope you enjoyed the process. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. And I hope you will check out the February kits. The colors are just fantastic. I love all of the pinks and reds combined together. I think that it's just beautiful. So hopefully you will check that out, and the pattern papers and everything that go with it. And remember that if you place a Shimmers order, if you put Sarah Millerhouse in the comment section, you will get a free gift. And I hope you have an awesome day. Bye for now, guys.